Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day to you. Welcome to Bayou Sports Talk here down in the Bayou of Louisiana, baby. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm Kay, your moderator. Holla at 'em, Ray.
Hey, I'm Ray, King Ray. The youngest of the bunch. I'm one of the panelists for Bayou
Ray, I
Sport.
think you muted.
I am? It's
No,
not.
you're not muted. I can hear you, buddy. You just gotta talk louder for her.
Oh, my bad. Kid, your volume probably low. That's probably what it is.
I'm sorry, y'all. My AirPods
Oh,
connected, and I didn't even know.
uh, it's fine. Yeah, just here to give y'all,
Go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
talk about the draft, boxing, give y'all some cap or fact, and just have our open discussions.
All right, all right. Holla at him, coach.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions Den Broadcasting Community. Shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. We appreciate all the love and everybody that's been coming through, everybody that's supporting the show. So y'all just come through, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Jedig.
All right, guys. Much love to you all out there. Thank you once again for your love, your support. And let's go ahead and dive on in with some boxing. What do you have for us, coach? Start us off.
Well, last week, one of my favorite fighters, Devin the Dream Haney, he had a huge bout with King Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia pulled a major upset. However, one thing a lot of individuals don't know, uh, the the mind games, everything behind the scenes that really kind of allowed Ryan Garcia to pull an upset. First and foremost, the bout was scheduled to be at the junior welterweight limit of 140 pounds. And for the weigh-in, Ryan Garcia came in 3 pounds over, which is 143 pounds, whereas Devin Haney, he came in at the junior welterweight limit of 140. So already out the gate, Ryan Garcia had a competitive advantage. The fact that he didn't have to completely weight drain the 140. Some people are like, well, it's just 3 pounds. Well, those 3 pounds make a huge difference because you're not fully draining yourself in terms of from a weight cut standpoint. So Ryan Garcia already had a competitive advantage. And in addition to that, in terms of the negotiation for the fight, he already was the A side, meaning that he got a bigger split. So he had a 55 to 45% split in his favor. So he had the competitive advantage in terms of not making weight. As a result, the WBC 140-pound title, it was not on the line. So since the title wasn't on the line, uh, I don't think Ryan Garcia really cared about winning the belt, but more than anything, I think he just wanted to win the fight. And, he had a competitive advantage going into the fight, the fact that he didn't have to get down to 140. So those people might not think it's a big deal, but those 3 pounds make a huge difference. So, we know Ryan Garcia has mental health issues, but, you know, all the disrespect that he threw Devin Haney's way. And one thing people don't know is the fact that they fought like 6 times as amateurs. Ryan won 3 and Devin Haney won 3. And just from a tactical standpoint in the fight, we know Ryan Garcia, he does a terrible job cutting off the ring when he fights against boxers. But he has good hand speed and he has a good left hook. And Devin Haney, his strength is the fact that he's an excellent boxer. But the fact that Ryan Garcia didn't, weight drain himself, Ryan Garcia came in strong. And in addition to that, the fact that uh, that Devin Haney took the fight personally. He didn't fight the normal smart fight that he would ordinarily fight. He took the fight personally, and as a result, he fought the wrong fight. He fought the fight that he fought against Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko. In that fight, many people think, from a boxing standpoint against Loma, he wasn't going to be able to outbox Loma, which I disagree. I think he could have. But maybe on the scorecard, if he didn't step to Loma and he didn't try to fight Loma, basically instead of boxing and fighting off the back foot like he normally does, like you have to fight Loma and take the fight to him. Whereas against Ryan Garcia, since Ryan Garcia didn't have to, weight train himself to 140. Going into the fight, he was the bigger fighter, and he had the competitive advantage from the standpoint that he wasn't weight drained. And from what I'm understanding, it was a bad weight cut for Devin Haney for this particular fight. So all of those things, they all played in Ryan Garcia's favor. He hurt Devin Haney early in a fight in the first round. He caught him with a left hook. And Ryan Garcia, he fought in spurts. He, for the most part, he didn't do a lot. Devin Haney outboxed him for many rounds. However, in many instances, he would flurry. He would throw the big left hook. And by him throwing the big left hook, catching Devin Haney, he dropped him 3 times. One of those rounds where he dropped him with the left hook, after that, the referee was holding Devin Haney, and Ryan Garcia punched him on the break. So Ryan Garcia had a point deducted. However, those other 2 rounds, it was a 10-8 round in favor of Ryan Garcia. So really, instead of it being a 10-9 round, it was a 10-8 round, 2 rounds. So he had the 4-point advantage in those rounds. So with that being said, I scored the fight 114-114. It was a draw on my scorecard. However, I knew the fact that it was a close fight and the fact that he knocked him down 3 times, that they would give Ryan Garcia the decision, which it was. They gave him a split decision. It was a big upset. But, it's kind of boxing politics kind of as usual, because the irony in this situation is some of the same fans that said that Ryan Garcia won the fight are the same individuals that said Tyson Fury won the fight. And essentially the same 2 knockdowns that Wilder got, essentially, one of them really didn't count because Ryan kind of, he got a point deducted in one of those rounds. So essentially, it's the same situation. The only difference is, instead of it being in Wilder's favor in this instance, is in Ryan Garcia's favor in this instance. So some of the same individuals that said that Tyson Fury won the first Deontay Wilder fight are some of the same individuals that saying Ryan Garcia beat Devin Haney. And, of course, they say they're going to run it back. They're going to fight a rematch. We know this cap. Ryan Garcia won the fight. Ryan Garcia is not looking to fight Devin the Dream Haney again. So, hopefully it's a learning lesson for Devin the Dream Haney. He can bounce back. He can improve. He's probably going to have to fight his mandatory, which is Sandor Martin. So hopefully, that's another good boxer in the 140-pound division. He's the number 1 contender. He's Devin Haney's mandatory. So hopefully he can shake it off and he can push forward and he can have, a great bounce back fight. But, I'm still rocking with Devin Haney. He's still one of my favorite fighters. Not last year, but year before last, I met Bill Haney at the LDBC meet and greet. He's one of the nicest individuals I've met in my entire life. Of course, you had a lot of bigger YouTubers that's in the LDBC that was present for that event. And, he was real nice. He treated me real well. And, much props to Bill Haney and the Devin Haney and DHP, still a fan, still rocking with him. And I just hopefully he can just rebound and he can learn from this mistake and he can move forward. And shout out to my brother, Big Joe Towns. to you, King Ray?
Yeah, as far as the technical aspect, of the fight, I mean, we knew coming in that Ryan was the type of guy that depended on big, quick shots, and Devin Haney was more of a boxer. Me personally, I'm a type of guy. This is my personal opinion. I feel like now, wait, I do agree. Weight is a big difference. Like even if you lifting weights in the gym, 3 pounds on a bench press or dumbbell, whatever, makes a big difference. So like weight does make a difference, but I feel like sometimes like it doesn't because Ryan did look more fatigued throughout the fight. Like he looked like he wasn't in shape. But it's the thing that Ryan was able to land those punches. So I could agree that Ryan, even though he wasn't in it, he wasn't the thing that balanced it out was he had more power behind his punches. Um, but from a technical aspect, I was coming into this fight. I'm like, yeah, I don't. I was expecting Devin Haney to, box like he always does, but I didn't think Ryan Garcia would drop him as many times as he did. But yeah, he just kept catching them and catching them and catching them. And Ryan Garcia did take rounds off. He like it's like you could tell he was taking rounds off because he wasn't in as good of shape, but he had the equalizer of having his punching power, and he probably really didn't care about being a champion as well. But everything you said, as far as like the technicality of the fight, I agree. It's pretty much straightforward. Ryan Garcia depended on his hook, which was very successful for him this fight. Very successful for him this fight. And Devin Haney boxed, but you got to keep it real. I remember watching the Zhang fight and the whatchamacallit fight. Um, Coach, you know who I'm talking about.
Joseph Parker.
Yeah, Joseph Parker. Zhang dropped Joseph Parker like what 3 times in that fight.
I thought it was two.
What I'm trying to make is Zhang had the more explosive highlights, but Parker won the fight. And so that's the thing. It could have went that way with this fight, but Ryan Garcia had too many like highlight reels in this fight. If Ryan Garcia would have just had like 2 or 1 drops in this fight, Devin Haney could have still won. But since like Ryan, like it look kind of if you watch the highlights, it looked like Ryan Garcia beat up Devin Haney the entire fight. If you go watch any like 2 minute highlight clip on YouTube or Instagram, you can be like, oh wow, Devin Haney got beat up the entire fight. But it really wasn't the case. But I mean, overall, I mean, I like Devin Haney, like Ryan Garcia too. I mean, my favorite fighter is Shakur. But my thing is, I've come to a place where, I just like to enjoy good fights, and don't be mad at me for saying this, coach, but I'm kind of happy Devin Haney lost. And the real reason why I'm saying that is because I'm ready for everybody's oath to go, and like I'm sorry for comparing boxing to the UFC because we kind of always say this, but I feel like this is the next step to helping the boxing game grow. It's like, man, you have top fighters in the UFC with like 7 losses, but like in boxing, the moment somebody get like 1 loss, everybody like, oh, this person trash, bro. Like, man, these dudes, this is what's going to happen when all the top boxers box each other. All them O's is going to go. Everybody not going to be pretty boy Floyd. And it's like Ryan's O was the first to go, then Devin O was the first to go. Devin's O was the second to go, and just keep these O's going. Like, we need more losses. And now I guarantee you, Ryan, Ryan was like, hey, Ryan probably gonna fight somebody else big. Because you don't, these boxers are not gonna have that peer pressure of being successful, of being perfect. So it's like Devin gonna be like, hey, I already took a loss. I might as well just so that's personally why I'm saying I'm kind of happy. Not saying that Devin Haney was gonna be scared to fight anybody if he had maintained the perfect record. But with people like Javante Shakur, Frank Martin, Jerron Boots Ennis, all these dudes, eventually they're gonna take a loss. And when they take that loss, that's when you're gonna really start seeing the big fights happening more. And like Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. But while we're on the topic of boxing, I want to bring up I really want to bring up 2 things. One of them I forgot. I don't know if you've seen the speculation with Shakur Stevenson and Javante Davis, going at it and that being a potential fight. And
No, yeah. I don't mean to cut you off, cuz.
oh
But
yeah, you could.
first of all, in terms of your opinion, I mean, we respect on this platform. So we have different opinions. That's cool,
Right, yeah.
But in terms of the Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis saga, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is behind that. I don't know if you saw the whole. I don't want to get into it because we
Yeah,
want.
Floyd was the one that posted the response from
Yeah,
Tank.
the no. I'm talking about to the Bill Haney situation.
Oh yeah, with him going on, I seen that, but I ain't really dig too deep into it.
Well, we kind of want to keep it drama free on this particular platform, but more than anything, what really transpired was for individuals that don't know, like Floyd Mayweather Jr. He's a jealous individual, meaning all the success he had in the boxing ring, all the money that he's garnered over the years, like just say, we are entourage, the three of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the if I'm the Floyd Mayweather Jr. in our group, I want to be the only one that gets shine, the only one with money, the only one that get praise and recognition and notoriety. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is that type of person. Now, he's a hater. So so people don't realize behind the scenes, he's always kind of been jealous of the the young and up and coming fighters. For those individuals that know, there was this fighter named Mickey Bay. He was supposed to be kind of like the next Floyd Mayweather Jr. type. He signed. He signed with Floyd Mayweather Jr. and pretty much Floyd Mayweather Jr. kind of blocked him and he kind of put him on the shelf. And his career never really went the way it should have gone. And so he that kind of guy, right? So behind the scenes, people that don't know, Devin Haney didn't sign with Floyd Mayweather Jr. He kind of wanted to do his own thing and be his own boss. And his dad, Bill Haney, is not only his trainer but his promoter. And and Devin Haney, he has DHP. Devin Haney promotes his own company. And as a result, like behind the scenes, Floyd Mayweather Jr. for years, he's kind of been doing stuff to block fights. In fact, even this fight between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, like he blocked that fight initially because he advised Ryan Garcia not to fight Devin Haney, and basically Ryan Garcia he spun the block and he came back and he got the fight because he couldn't get the fight that he wanted with Rolly Romero. So at the end of the day, like Floyd is a hater, and basically he kind of been going on different platforms and he's been hating on. It's kind of like he's been gloating the fact that Devin Haney lost, even though you mentored Devin Haney, you brought him up as a boxer, you kind of gave him game over the years. You think you would be happy for him, but no, it's the opposite. He's kind of rejoicing in the fact that he lost. In fact, Ryan Garcia, you know, people don't know like that highlight reel a Tank, whooping up on Devin Haney and sparring. Like basically, Floyd Mayweather Jr. edited that video to show the highlights are only when Tank got the better of Devin Haney, and he gave it to Ryan Garcia, and Ryan Garcia put it out. And in addition to that, Ryan Garcia said that Floyd Mayweather Jr. told him, don't make weight, come in 3 pounds heavy. So Floyd kind of gave him a lot of strategic things to do in the fight against Devin Haney. So basically, Bill Haney, he went live on Instagram and he sent Floyd Mayweather Jr. the link. And basically, Floyd, he trying to get on there, he trying to play the victim. Like, hey Bill, what went wrong between me and us? We used to be good, this, that, and the third. And basically, Bill Haney was like, man, I'm not gonna kiss you behind. Like, you're like, what you did behind the scenes and whoop de whoop de whoop. And then, he was like, we never basically Floyd wanted Bill Haney to kiss his behind and say, hey, we could use you to, come to camp or whatever. Floyd wanted Bill to kiss his behind, and Bill was like, man, my son don't need you. We never needed you, and whoop de whoop de whoop. He was like, well, you needed me the other night when he was getting whooped by Ryan. And he was like, all right. my son needed you that night. He was like, basically, your son needs you every night because, you have all of this money. And, shout out to Black Fight Fan TV. He used to say this all the time on his platform on Trill Boxing Talk. He said, I don't respect money. And essentially what he was saying is money doesn't impress him. It's about the character of the individual and who you really are. And basically, yeah, Floyd got on there telling me he was 15, he 15 on woo. And he was like, yeah, all right, you 15, you talking that boxing stuff. I'm talking, but it's a dad, like, he kind of used street terminology or whatever. Basically, he was like, yeah, all right, you might be an undefeated boxer, but I'm a better human being and I'm a better father than you. Hey, yeah, my son lost in the ring, but at the same token, like your kids, you have all of this
Like
money,
basically, you undefeated in the ring, but you're not
but
undefeated in life.
in life, and that's what he was saying. He was saying basically, yeah, you undefeated in the ring, but I'm undefeated as a father. Like basically, all my kids are doing good, whereas you on the opposite end of the spectrum. Like your kids are grown. Your daughter is out here. She's bad. She's doing bad. She, sleeping with different celebrities and that type of thing. Your son, he out here in the streets, and guys want to do him stuff. And hey, I put in a couple calls, and I'm like, hey, bro, that's Floyd Mayweather Jr. son. Like, hey, hey, don't mess with him. That's Floyd's son, whatever. And Floyd's come back was, hey, once the child get to a certain age, like it's nothing you really could tell them. They're gonna do what they're gonna do and whatever. And Bill Hannon was like, yeah, all right, you saying that, but you can't say that because you taking care of all of these women you messing with. And he was like, oh, you pocket watching? He was like, no. He was like, so you got your daughter out here doing bad, but yet you taking care of these chicks, And he was like, man, basically, you a fool. He used like fool, earth man. It was funny the way he phrased it, but the end of the day is, they had a back and forth, and basically that kind of spiraled into, Tank saying, yeah, Floyd a hater. Floyd, he been hating behind the scenes because I don't know if for the most part, Tank really, like this upcoming fight with Frank Martin, this is going to be like the best competition that Tank has fought in his entire career. So, uh, you know, so basically Floyd at one point when he was having issues with Tank, he threatened Tank with a Loma fight. Like, yeah, we're gonna have you. I'm gonna have you fight Loma, or whatever the case may be. You're gonna fight Loma and whoop de whoop de whoop. Hey, get such on the phone. We're gonna get him to fight Loma. And basically, he was like, "Oh, Loma gonna beat him." And so, it was a little back and forth after that between Tank and Tank and Floyd. And Tank basically was like, all right, yeah, you talking all that, but you went over there to Dubai and these people gave you a bunch of money. And as a result, you didn't deliver what you promised to them. So now you stuck in Dubai, you can't get home. So, and I'm like, whoa. So basically he's saying these people gave you a bunch of money. You can deliver whatever y'all agreed to, whatever you promised. So you stuck. And then, so as a result, Floyd kind of got in Shakur's ear, because I don't know if you noticed at one point, Shakur, every time it was brought up about, fighting Tank, now it was almost like he didn't want no smoke. Now all of a sudden, now you want to fight Tank so bad all of a sudden. And I don't care what nobody says. You can see the handwriting on the wall. Floyd is the one behind the scenes pulling the strings. So now Shakur is coming at Tank. And then in addition to that, Ryan Garcia was saying that he was talking to a chick that messed with Tank, and Tank is zesty and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, man, it's just too much drama to me. I figured everything should be in the ring, So at the end of the day, the underlying, moral of the story to me is like Floyd Mayweather Jr., he wants to be the only person really doing good. He's been hating on these younger generation of fighters. And you could tell he's someone that's kind of self-centered from a egocentric standpoint. The reason I say that is because just say I interview Floyd and I start talking about, hey, your fight is Tank Davis. Well, he's still with PBC, but I don't think he's a Floyd Mayweather Jr. fighter. And it kind of seemed like at one point, every time Tank had a fight coming up, like Floyd and Tank would get into it. They would have a public falling out. But to me, it seemed like they just always did that to garner attention in whatever fight Tank had coming up. But it feels different this time because Floyd has crossed a certain line, calling him zesty. And, he got Ryan Garcia involved. He got Shakur involved. But more than anything, Floyd, he kind of one of these type of people. Like, if I interviewed him and said, hey, Tank is your fighter, this, that, and the third, like, talk about Tank. He'll start out talking about Tank, but the conversation always reverts back to him. And, that's kind of what Bill Haney was saying, too. Basically, he was like, nobody around you from a financial standpoint is doing good. He was like, all my people on my team, like, they all thrive and they all successful. They all doing good. Like, you're a hater, you're a jealous individual, and you won't be the only person with money. You want to be the only person doing good. And basically, you want everybody like bowing down to you and kissing your behind. And he was like, man, you as an individual, you're a fool. So that's kind of like the gist of it. The whole situation with Ryan Garcia and Tank and Shakur and Tank. So anything you want to add to that, King Ray? But no, but in terms of you saying everybody's old should go. I think if Tank does get by Frank Martin, I'm gonna keep it G. I think some kind of way Floyd might set up something where he might get robbed on the scorecards, but if not, a lot of individuals saw how a lot of Errol Spence Jr. fans jumped off his bandwagon once he lost to Bud. A lot of individuals saw how a lot of Deontay Wilder fans have jumped off the bandwagon once he lost to Tyson Fury. And a lot of people see the way a lot of Devin Haney fans have jumped off the bandwagon since he lost to Ryan Garcia. Bro, I'm going to be honest with you. I think if Tank gets by Frank Martin, I don't think Tank going to fight the tough fights because the love is going to go away. A lot of people, they're going to switch sides. They're going to make a complete 180 and they're going to turn on you. So I don't think I think Floyd, it's good that he went undefeated in his career, because people don't really know. There was two phases to his career. That the pretty boy Floyd Mayweather phase of his career where he fought all the best possible competition. He beat all the best fighters he possibly could fight. And then the back end of his career, the Money Mayweather persona where he didn't fight the best possible competition. He tried to make as much money as he could make and stay undefeated in the process. So I think that Money Mayweather phase of his career, people forget about the pretty boy Floyd phase of his career, and everybody won't stay undefeated. So you saying you kind of happy that Ryan lost, that Devin lost, EJ lost. I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of these fighters, they just gonna kind of keep going the same path of just trying to stay undefeated and not fighting the best possible competition. I think that's the difference between boxing and UFC. I think Floyd kind of changed everything for the worse. And I think, fighters just going to try to string the fans along and milk fights for as long as they could and make as much money as they could without fighting real good competition. I think we too far gone to go back to the way it used to be. I hope it could go back the way it used to be, but I don't think it ever will. Back to you, Kay.
All right, guys, let's move on to the NBA. Um, of course, we're going to start off with our Pelicans right now. Our Pelicans, they're playing against the Thunder, and right now, we want to see them win because right now the Pelicans are down 0-2 with OKC. And guys, what are your thoughts? Let's start with you, Ray. What are your thoughts?
I mean, just like you, I'm currently watching the game. Right now, they just tipped off like 2 minutes ago. And me and coach was talking before we went live. Basically, like, look, man, we feel like they should have stole game one. I'm not tripping that they. I mean, I am tripping that they lost game one, but I feel like they should have took that game. They should have stole that game, which they failed to do. But this game right here at home, if the Pelicans don't make a stamp somehow with the win, I ain't watching this series, you know. But yeah, so just hoping that they win. My big thing is BI needs to get going to the same BI that we seen when the Pelicans played their hearts out against the Phoenix Suns 2 years ago. Because that series was Brandon Ingram's coming out party where everybody was like, all right, Brandon Ingram gonna be a future star. But so far he's been getting locked up. And so I'm hoping he gets a fire lit inside of him and just drops 30. If BI could drop 30, the Pelicans will win. And I've been saying that for the longest. Um BI like, and this is in reference to Zion not playing. You know, if Zion was playing, then you run the offense through Zion. But right now, the second best player on that court is Brandon Ingram behind SGA. And the second best player isn't showing up and isn't getting his points and his shots. So that's what the Pelicans need to focus on, getting BI going.
Coach, what are your thoughts?
I'm sorry, I was on mute. I'm gonna echo a lot of the same sentiments that King Ray just did. First and foremost, I said coming into this series that without Zion, the Pelicans cannot win this series, and it's been apparent. Like he said, we were talking behind the scenes before the show actually started, and we were saying that basically they should have stole game one. The fact that they let that game slip away in the previous game, the Thunder just put a beat down on them. So, without Zion, they really don't have a shot at winning this series. But like King Ray was saying, Brandon Ingram is the second best player, not just on, the Pelicans team, but he's the second best player in this series. And I'm gonna agree with everything he said except for the number. I don't think he needs to drop 30. I think he needs to drop 40 today for them to win and for them to, kind of get this series going in the right direction. They can't afford to do like the Lakers did and go down 3-0. The Pelicans need to win this game today. So hopefully BI can, he can turn it on and he can get it going and they can win this particular game. So hopefully BI could, have a good game. Not a good game, a great game. Drop 40 and the Pelicans could get the win today, kind of get things going in the right direction.
Okay, so tell me what are your thoughts, and we're gonna get to Ray after, and we'll pass it over to Coach. Ray, what are your thoughts on the other series? Right now, we have the Celtics. They are tied with the Heat. It one up. They play today at 5 o'clock. Um, and what do you think? Who do you predict is gonna pull that one out? What are your thoughts, Ray?
I mean, mainly I've been watching the other series, like with the Knicks and the 76ers. That's been a good series. No, I think the Bucks just lost the other day, but I do have the Bucks somehow beating the Pacers. I think the Celtics will win the series with the Heat, but the main series I've been paying attention to is the Lakers and the Nuggets. You know, I'm pretty sure we all know the Nuggets will sweep the Lakers and the Lakers gonna have to do some reconsideration. My personal opinion has always been LeBron should have never went to the Lakers, should have just stayed in Cleveland. But I don't want to get too much in on that. But yeah, that's
Okay, Coach, what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are I think the Celtics are going to beat the Heat. I don't know how many games. I think they're going to find a way to get by. I think it's going to be a long series, though. Like King Ray said, I said it on last week's show. I think the Nuggets are going to sweep the Lakers because I think it's a bad matchup for the Lakers. I think some kind of way, especially if they can get the next game, I think the 76ers are going to find a way to win the series. Even with Joel Embiid's Bell palsy, I still think they're going to find a way to win the series. I think the Mavericks, I'm going to stick with my pick. I think they're going to beat the Clippers. Hopefully, some kind of way. I like the Bucks. I like Giannis. Hopefully, some kind of way they could kind of come back. Even though he's not playing, I think hopefully they could find some kind of way to beat the Pacers. I think the Timberwolves are going to sweep the Suns, and that's it for the most part. So I got the Celtics beating the Heat, the Timberwolves sweeping the Suns, the Bucks finding a way to win their series, the Mavs beating the Clippers, and the 76ers beating the Knicks, and I have the Lakers getting swept by the Nuggets. So that's pretty much my predictions. I also think the Cavaliers are going to beat the Magic in their particular series. So the playoffs has been good. Of course, my primary focus is the Pelicans because they're our hometown team. Hopefully, they could find a way to get this win today, but we'll see how things play out.
Yes, yes. Ray, who are you pulling for in these series?
I already said it.
Oh, okay, because I thought you didn't get the
No,
with
that
the
was she was
Dallas
saying.
and the Clippers.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think you got every series. I think that's what she was in a roundabout way, kind of saying like every single series. Who you had for like the Mavericks and the Clippers, the Cavs and the
I just,
Mad.
to be honest, like the rest of those series, I really don't got nobody. I really just don't care who won those series.
So you just whatever happens, happens.
Yeah,
That's where
I,
you
I
are.
really don't care if Dallas or the Clippers win. Because I don't think either one of those teams are gonna go too far. Or like even like
Okay.
I was watching the Magics and the Cleveland Cavaliers. I really don't care about those two teams either.
Okay. So well, anything else, guys, that you have dealing with the NBA and with the series as well as for the moving towards the championship. Okay, well, guys, let's move on to open discussion. Coach, start us off. What do you have for open discussion?
All right, in terms of my open discussion, y'all already know I'm coming back to home. Southern University Jaguars. Basically, my open discussion topic is, they've been talking about like the quarterback situation between, Noah Bolton, uh, Zay Tessett, who's a hometown guy, Jalen Woods. And in the past, basically the issue was the previous season, uh, you know, Coach Eric Dooley, he stuck with Harold Blood when he should have probably pulled him and went with one of the other guys. In the previous season, he went with Bashawn McCray when everybody knew that Glenn Above McDaniel was by far the better fit at the quarterback position, and he was by far the better option. So, in terms of my open discussion topic, uh, is about Southern in particular, but just in general, do you think coaches should go with the person that gives them the best chance to win, or do you think they should go with you know politics or the guy that they like personally, or the guy that they believe give them the best chance opportunity to win? What are your thoughts, King Ray?
I mean, I feel like the common sense thing is, man, you go with the guy that that's gonna get you the dub. It doesn't matter if you personally like someone more. Go with the person that's gonna get the job done. You know.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but like, one thing we talk about is like the podcast with all the like athletes, and you have athletes giving like their own personal stories. I kind of give you an example, like Gilbert Arenas was talking about his team. Well, no, it wasn't Gilbert Arenas. I think it was one of the other people on the panel, and they were saying that they had two players, right? One player was making like 40 million a year, or something. No, I'll take it back. It was something like 5 million a year. And the other guy was like a minimum guy. And the minimum guy was clearly better than the guy making more money. And he was giving him the business every day. But basically, they had invested in more in the guy making more money. And as a result, the guy that was making more money was going to play. And he said, after a point, the coach was told the dude that was going off, like, stop. Like, he gonna play. He makes by far the more money than you. The organization has invested more in him. So, all right, we get your point, but you never gonna play. So, I understand what you're saying, and I've seen instances where, you know, a certain individual by far is the better option in terms of the common sense thing to do. But we know we don't live in a common sense world, and it doesn't always work that way. Like we say, even in the professional ranks, it might be a guy that's making more money. On a college level, it might be a guy that you like more from a personal standpoint. So we understand the common sense answer, but in some of these instances, like it's head scratching. Even with we talk about Glenn Ball McDaniel, Bashawn McCray. I mean, Bashawn McCray was a glorified running back playing quarterback, but Eric Dooley had a close personal relationship with Bashawn and Bennett, so he went with Bashawn. So the point I'm trying to make is that you and I are in agreement, but that's not the world we live in.
Okay, Ray, what do you have for us for open discussion?
Open discussion I kind of want to talk about today is like Deion Sanders. And it's a lot of things with Deion Sanders. You got people leaving his program. Some of his top recruits are leaving. He's saying stuff about how he don't want his sons to play for a particular NFL team. And even like his daughter just transferred to Alabama A&M to
Yep.
play basketball. And he like publicly said like, oh, she's stupid for doing that. And it's just, man, like, at first everybody was like, yeah, Deion, everybody was rooting for Deion, but it's like over time, it's kind of it's not looking good for him. But I just want to get y'all overall opinions on Deion Sanders and everything that's going on around him right now.
Go ahead, start off, Coach.
Well, King Ray, I'm gonna be honest with you. You stole my factor cap question. That was gonna be my factor cap question. But we talked about this last week on the Southern Baller Show. Uh, on a not on because we had two episodes recently. We had a pre-draft episode, and we also had an episode last Sunday. And basically, we talked about this. We talked about how a lot of players are entering the portal, and many individuals feel that basically he's kind of showing favoritism towards Shador, his son, and Travis Hunter. And not only that, but coaches are leaving. Of course, recently he brought in Warren Sapp. So basically, they feel like that was gonna be my factor cap question. I mean, I thought he was gonna have the same success he had at Jackson State at Colorado, but it seems as if basically, people feel like from a personal standpoint, like he's offensive. He rubs people the wrong way, and that basically overall that his program is not going to reach his highest height. He's not going to have the success that he should have because basically he's just kind of using this as a platform for his sons and for Travis Hunter. And not only that, but he rubs a lot of coaches the wrong way. And his personality, like over time, it might seem good for clips and for sound bites and for highlights, but they feel like over the long haul, it kind of wears on people. So, I still wish him well. I still hope he has success. But the fact that you have these players entering the portal, the fact that coaches are leaving, you know, it's not looking good, but hopefully he could turn it around. What are your thoughts, Kay?
Um, I'm just, I'm gonna just say I'm thinking positive. I hope things work out for the good. Um, with everything surrounding there. Uh, I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm hoping things work out for the good there. That's I'm just gonna leave it at that. Do you all have another open discussion?
Factor cap, please.
Ray, do you have anything
Uh,
else?
Factor cap.
Okay, start us off, Ray. Factor cap.
Factor cap. Will Derek, by the time this season ends, will Derek Carr still be our starting quarterback?
Well, go
Unfortunately,
ahead, coach.
no. In fact, you go first, Kay. You go first for a change.
Um, the truth, I think they're going to, even if he is not succeeding, they're still going to ride with him till the wheels fall off, because I feel like they have so much invested in him, so much money back in him. They're still going to do it, even if it's not the best decision. And maybe next year, because and that's something I was going to get to with our I'm sorry, guys. Something with our draft, they did draft a quarterback in the fifth round, because they didn't do the third and the fourth round. So eventually, they will have them grooming uh the next quarterback, so that it can, be feasible for the Saints. What about you? What are your thoughts, coach? So I would say that I think it's a fact that Derek Carr will be the continuing quarterback for this season, coach.
Unfortunately, I agree with Kay. I think it's fact. I mean, in an ideal situation, if you had somebody like a Michael Penix Jr., you had a viable eventual heir apparent of an eventual replacement. I can see them maybe pivoting and going in a different direction. But the kind of money that they've invested in Derek Carr, excuse me, the kind of money they've invested in Derek Carr, and in addition to that, the fact that you really don't have no real viable secondary option. James Winston is now gone. Gone. I'm gonna be honest with you. They drafted Spencer Rattler, but Rattler really doesn't move the needle for me personally. Uh, I think they're gonna ride. They're gonna ride Derek Carr till the wheels fall off. It's unfortunate because it's not like he's definitely by no stretch of the imagination a Drew Brees. He's not even in my opinion, at his best, he's not a Jeff Blake either. So at the end of the day, in an ideal situation, the way he played the last couple games to end the season, he can play like that the entire season. But let's be realistic. What you saw from him most of the season, that's who he is. That's why I was kind of baffled by everybody thinking he was going to be this playoff caliber quarterback that's going to lead the Saints to the playoffs. I never saw it, and I still don't. So unfortunately, King Ray is the fact.
Okay, coach. What do you have for us? Factor cap.
All right, I was gonna pivot and go in a different direction, even though King Ray kind of already stole my question. Factor cap. Coach Prime is gonna have the same level of success at Colorado that he had at Jackson State. Factor cap.
Fitted, fitted, or snapback, whichever one you prefer. It's a cap. I don't. We see where there's smoke, there's fire. We seen it early, and it's like I always say with LeBron James. I personally feel like LeBron James should have never left Cleveland. I personally feel like Deion should have never left JSU. He could have created his own legacy there and continue to build HBCU legacy, but he went on put to PWI. You know, and I can't. He's his own man. He makes his own choices, but I do not see this continuing to go the way he think it's gonna go. He got problems already. And it's like we all know, the moment his sons leave, he leaving too for a better job. But yeah, it's cap.
What are your thoughts, Kay?
Um, I don't think he will have the level, because this is another level. He's not familiar with. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he cannot succeed. I'm just thinking that this is kind of out of his league, out of his wheelhouse, because as we as we saw last season, and I see that he's trying to groom the team that he needs, coaching wise. So I'm going to say with the staff and the faculty, he's trying to groom them. And I see that he is trying to get his players where he wants them to be with getting the right players. But I just still feel like it's probably going to be better than what the school is used to, because even last year they did better than they have done in a long time. But I just don't feel like he's gonna have uh, that the Jackson State level of success. I'm sorry.
All right. I'm gonna stand on my square, and I'm gonna go against the grain, and I'm gonna say fact. I think it's gonna take longer at Colorado than it did at J State. However, like my brother Big Joe Townsend said in the chat, he said this happens at every university. We just happen to be talking about Dion, and I think the fact that Coach Prime is a high profile individual, he garners a lot of attention. But like he said, this happens at a lot of other institutions. He just happened to be more high profile than a lot of other coaches. Uh, I don't think he's gonna have that same level of Jackson State success this coming season. But I think if he stays the course and he sticks with things, I think over time, I think he's gonna get to that point. I think he's gonna have that same level of success. So me personally, I'm gonna stand on my square and I'm gonna say fact.
Well, I really hope, and like I said, I wish the best for him. So I hope things do look up for him. Uh, Coach, I'm sorry, Ray. Any other factor, Cat?
Nope, none for me.
Ray, Coach. Any
That's
other
it.
factor,
That,
Cat?
that's it for me also.
Okay. So let's move on to the NFL and the Saints. We know, and this is something that I mentioned, we know that the draft is going on right now, and the first round pick for the Saints was a offensive tackle. Guys, do you think with all the decisions that they made with the Saints and throughout the NFL, because with the first round pick in general with the NFL, it was Caleb Williams. Do you think, guys, it should have been someone else for the first round pick, or do you think they made a good decision there with the Bears making um, with Caleb Williams? Uh, Ray, start me off. What are your thoughts?
Wait, you asked him about the number one overall pick or about the
The
second?
number one overall pick, as well as with the Saints' first pick.
So you asking me to like, do you? So you asking me, do I agree with who was the number one overall pick?
Yeah,
Yes,
she asked him.
as well as with who the Saints pick as well.
I mean, yeah, everybody knew Caleb Williams was the pretty much the best potential quarterback in the draft. I mean, you could arguably say Jaden Daniels, but Caleb Williams was set to be the number one overall pick ever since he was a sophomore. So I mean, yeah, as far as the number one overall pick, yeah, I 100% agree with that. The Saints pick, yeah, we need to beef up the offensive line. So we just had one old lineman return from a very significant injury and another one that just retired. So we need to continue to beef up our offensive line. So I agree with a lot of the draft picks that they made so far. They just drafted a wide receiver, which I don't think they really needed, but oh well.
Coach, what are your thoughts?
In terms of the Bears taking Caleb Williams one, like King Ray said, it's been obvious he was going to be the number one pick for a while. Many draft analysts and draft experts think he's like a generational type talent in terms of being a high level franchise quarterback. Some speculate that he's going to be better than maybe Carson Palmer, or maybe John Elway, or even like Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. That kind of remains to be seen. Other individuals, they don't like the fact that he's extremely emotional and in terms of talking about his feelings. He paints his fingernails. He spends time with his cat. Even though they feel like from a talent standpoint, he's that guy on the field, they feel like the off the field things and the ancillary things, it kind of make them believe that he's not that guy. But it's obvious he was going to be the number one pick. That's first and foremost. In terms of the Saints, I think they've had a pretty good and decent draft. Taking Fuaga in the first round. That was the biggest area needed the Saints had in terms of the offensive line. In terms of secondly, them getting Kool-Aid from Alabama in terms of cornerback. They needed to bolster their depth at cornerback because let's be truthful, at this stage and age in his career, Lattimore is extremely injury prone. So I think that was a good pickup. I still think they need a strong safety. Hopefully at some point, whether it's in free agency or not, maybe they can get Jordan Carter from Southern. I'm a Southern University guy. I'm always going to push for those guys. So hopefully, if he don't get drafted, they could get. If they don't draft one, hopefully they can get Jordan Carter, and hopefully he can make the team. It's going to be a tough hill for him to climb, but I think he can get the job done. But overall, I think they've done a decent job. Now, rebutting what King Ray said in terms of wide receiver, many individuals felt like that was one of their biggest areas of need. They figured because I saw a poll on his other Saints YouTube channel that I watch. They had a poll and they figured 41% of the chat, which was like the biggest percentage, they said the biggest area of need for the Saints was wide receiver, which I disagree. I agree with him. But I do agree that they needed another wide receiver because Kirkwood, to me, he wasn't that guy. I felt like they should have kept Shaq Thompson. They let him go. I'm sorry, Shaq Davis. Should have kept Shaq Davis. They let him go in to the Jets. So I think another receiver is needed, especially if you don't know long term. If you don't know if you're going to be to keep Rashid Shaheed. If Rashid Shaheed has an excellent season as a wide receiver and a punt kick returner, you might lose him. So I think wide receiver is definitely another area of need. But more than anything, I think they need another, defensive lineman, a defensive tackle in particular, and another strong safety. But other than that, I think they've done a decent job in terms of the draft.
Okay, so anything else dealing with the NFL, the draft, guys? Ray?
I guess we could talk about Michael Penix Jr. How the Falcons made like a very suspect draft. If Coach wanted to talk about that, I could elaborate on it first if you want me to.
No, I could go first. I'm gonna be truthful. I was shocked when they took Michael Penix Jr. as high as they did, considering the money that they gave Kirk Cousins. I'm like, wow, that's kind of a shock. They got a lot of money tied up in Kirk Cousins. He's going to be there for a minute. So maybe the plan is for down the line, maybe they're grooming Michael Penix Jr. to be the heir apparent to Kirk Cousins. If that's a strategy, I think that was a smart strategy. Honestly, I was hoping Penix could have came to the Saints, to be truthful. But of course, that's me being a selfish Saints fan. You know what I'm saying? But what are your thoughts, King Ray?
I 100% agree with you, but like I was saying earlier, this is either way the cut go, this will result in a waste. Either Michael Penix, some of his career will be wasted, or the Atlanta Falcons will waste the money that they spent on Kirk Cousins. But now that I think about it as a Saints fan, if that could cause controversy in the organization, I won't trip on it too much. That's our rivals. So
Well, I think you're used to the way things are now, the way it is in the day and age. Once you draft a guy high in the first round, usually that guy either he starts or he plays that year, or he sit a year and then he starts the next year. Whereas in years past, when I was young, when I was a kid, like you would draft a guy and this guy would wait for 3 years, maybe minimum. So the worst case scenario, you would have a situation like Aaron Rodgers where he would sit like 4 years, and then maybe he would start his fifth year, and then he would go on to have a great career. So honestly, I think that'll be an ideal situation for Michael Penix Jr. If Kirk Cousins starts for 3 years, and then maybe eventually, like maybe year 4, year 5, you become the starting quarterback. That's the ideal situation for him. I think taking the old school route and doing it the way it used to be done is better than, all right, hey, you got to sit a year, then we're gonna throw you in to the fire. We're gonna throw you in the fire year one. I mean, it worked out for Peyton Manning, him getting thrown to the wolves his rookie year, or maybe somebody like, I don't know, Troy Aikman. But you got to realize for every Troy Aikman, for every uh, Peyton Manning, you had an Achilles Smith, and you had guys of that ilk who them basically being thrown to the wolves their rookie year. It ruined their entire career because they never recovered from it. Even we talk about Derek Carr, but even David Carr, him getting thrown to the wolves right away, and him getting sacked time after time after time after time, and him getting beat up a lot. Basically, it kind of ruined those guys' careers. So you sitting for 3 to 4 years, it's not a bad thing if you end up having a great career after the fact. So it's not a bad situation that Michael Penix Jr. is in. In fact, it's a favorable situation because at least as a rookie, you're not getting thrown to the wolves, and you get to sit and learn the game for a few years.
Guys, I want to ask you something before we close up. What are your thoughts of the things that are going on with Sean Payton? Like, one of the things he did was he admitted that he tricked the Vikings to trade up on JJ, the draft for JJ McCarthy, as well as uh do you think the pick that he selected for Bo Nix, and just the things that are going on surrounding Sean Payton with the Broncos, what are your thoughts? And
Uh,
start me off, coach.
well, truthfully speaking, I'm gonna be honest with you. Saying Sean Payton has left the Saints, especially his entire season with Russell Wilson, my perception of him has slightly changed. Uh,
So
I
has
mean, I don't
mine.
view him as favorably as I once did, for one. But in terms of the draft, you have to kind of take everything with a grain of salt. The reason being is because, uh, people are putting out a lot of false information. They're jockeying for a position. They want certain players to fall to them without them having to move up. So in terms of the draft, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. You can't, you know, and you can't be too forthcoming and too truthful and too honest. Because I remember years ago, there was this one team that said, hey, they wanted a particular player, right? It was the Philadelphia Eagles. And somebody jumped in front of them and took that player. I think they drafted him like the pick before them. And it ended up working out for him because the wide receiver that they ended up drafting, he ended up going to have a very good career for the Eagles. But the point I'm trying to make is, because of situations like that in the day and age, in terms of the draft, you take everything with a grain of salt because a lot of false information out there. There's a lot of fake news. So the draft thing, I'm not really tripping on. And it was obvious that once they got rid of Russell Wilson, they needed a quarterback. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not huge on Bo Nix. To me, I think Bo Nix is extremely overrated. But evidently, that was his guy. He wanted him. Now, whether he gonna have a veteran quarterback, he gonna bring in a veteran quarterback, and he gonna, like I just said, have that veteran quarterback be a stopgap guy and maybe play for like a year. Then after that year, make Bo Nix his starter, or is he gonna throw Bo Nix to the fire right away? Either or. It kind of depends on what direction he goes in. But at the end of the day, in terms of the draft, those type of things happen all the time.
Ray, what are your thoughts?
About Sean Payton. I mean, I really didn't hear too much about that stuff with Sean Payton, so I'm really not too aware. This is my first time hearing it. Um, but I mean, like, if it is true, I guess it depends on how Sean Payton supposedly tricked them. If Sean Payton is like, "Hey, I'm thinking about drafting this guy," and then another team jumped ahead of him to draft the same guy that he said he was going to draft, and he was like, "Ha, fooled you." I don't see nothing wrong with that. Um, I mean, that's the thing. Fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me twice, can put the blame on you. This is y'all profession. Y'all work in the front office. Y'all shouldn't be getting fooled by other people. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
right. I mean, I
Yes.
don't got too much to, say about that. Be wise. Don't let nobody fool you. And I mean, if you're after a particular player, whether another coach wants that player or not, you want who you want. If y'all just so happen to want the same player, then that's one thing. But if you go get a player just because another coach wants him, like that's your fault. Like, focus on what you need to get.
Okay. Do you have anything else, Ray?
No, that's it for me. I'm empty.
Coach?
Yeah, same here. That's pretty much all I have to add. And Big Joe made an excellent point in terms of the point I was making about quarterback sitting. He said even Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for like 4 years, and then Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers for like 3 years. So yeah, I mean that's the way it used to be back in the gap. So it's a different day and era. If you draft a quarterback high, you want him to play right away. So it's a different mindset in the days NFL. But other than that, that's pretty much it for me.
Okay, guys, today has been a pretty good show. I want to shout out and send our love out to Brent Fox. Shout out to Joseph Townsend. Shout out to Big Reg. And shout out to Storytime. Shout out to Motivation to Be a Millionaire. Shout out to Relaxing Calm Rain. And shout out to uh, Jared O11 Green. Shout out to everyone that has been supporting us and showing us love. Anyone I have missed, we just want to tell you we appreciate you and much love to you all and success. Before we move on, is there any closing remarks you guys have?
Nope.
No, that's it. Besides us getting ready to close it out.
Okay, so start us off, Coach. What closing? How people can find you and everything?
Well, first and foremost, major shout out to King Ray. This was an excellent episode. We appreciate everybody that's been rocking with us, that's been supporting our show. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. In terms of me, first and foremost, shout out to Big Reg. Y'all go over to his channel, check him out. Shout out to my brother Brent Fox. On his channel, he does his own podcast every Thursday. It's just me. Go check him out. Also check out my brother Jared 11 Green tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's typically the time we go on, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Sundays. Uh, Him, his twin JB, myself, the brother Brent Fox, brother Big Joe Townsend, Southern Baller Show on Jared 11 Green's channel, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Sundays. However, we appreciate everybody. You can catch me at Coach 67 Sports TV on all social media platforms. I have a Coach 67 Sports TV Facebook group. You can catch me on TikTok, on X, which is formerly known as Twitter, on Instagram, on all platforms. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed today's episode. Hopefully, y'all have a blessed and enjoyable weekend. We'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace and blessings to everyone.
Ray, let everyone know how they can follow you and how they can hear anything else from Ray.
Yeah, y'all see my YouTube at the bottom, Race 2225, and my IG is at the bottom as well. So y'all could hear me, contact me, look at me on there. look at the content that I have on there. Enjoy the discussion we have today, and we look forward to next week with some of the predictions and well, not predictions, but we're looking forward to next week with more topics that we're gonna discuss.
Okay, guys, we appreciate your love and your support. If you haven't done so yet, please like, subscribe, share, and tell everyone about Bayou Sports Talk. And our closing quote: it's the magic within each of us that gives us the potential to inspire the world. Kobe Bryant. Guys, we love you. We appreciate you. You all have a great day. Bye bye.